Hello everyone, welcome to Cellopedia, this is Maxim. People often ask me, why doesn't cello have frets? It would be so much easier to play it, to find all notes on this black fingerboard, without worrying about missing any note. And I thought, well, why not? Well, I cannot turn cello to guitar, but I found a kit, simple kit to turn the cello to some kind of guitar, to put frets on the fingerboard. Well, I decided not to risk life of my old cello. So I got a brand new cello, good student quality, online, and I will play for you several pieces. Once without frets and right after that with frets. Let's see what happens. I never tried it, so we will explore it together. Are you ready? Let's turn this cello to guitar. Okay, here is the fret board we're going to put on the fingerboard. Now it's time to loosen up strings and carefully remove the bridge. I put it under the tailpiece so it will not scratch the cello. Now preparing this fretboard. It's very thin and sticky, so be careful and take time putting it there. I'm aligning it with the nut, and here it is. Carefully pressing on it, so there are no wrinkles, and it seems to be working. Now it's time to tighten strings. Before that, we put the bridge back to its position. It's very important to remember its position, so you put it exactly where it should be, right in between F holes. And well, time to tighten up strings one by one. When you do it, make sure that the bridge doesn't move. And here it is. Seems to be working. Final adjustment, and seems to be quite ready. Well, and now I just need to tune it, and it will be ready. Now I have frets on my fingerboard. It feels so weird. But let's see how that works. I will play 3 different pieces of music. Beginner level, harder, and yet harder. And then we will see how that works, or maybe doesn't. Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. One of the first pieces in Suzuki Cello Book 1. I'll play it for you without frets first. Okay, now it's time to use this cello with frets. So excited, I never tried it before. I guess I have to look where to put my fingers. Such an unusual feeling. Okay, I think I'm ready. I guess I had to look at my left hand a little bit more, but I noticed that there is a strange sound on the D string. Let's see why it happens. Do you guys hear this bass? I guess that's because a string is touching one of those frets. Well, it might be not a problem, because it helps to position the left hand quite well. So I think it might help if you just started playing cello and you don't have a teacher who could correct your proper left hand position. Let's move on and play something more difficult. A Swan by Camille Saint-Saens. I love this music. Well, let's see how that works with frets. We have many shifts to make. Well, it feels very different. When I had to make shifts, I had to make so much more effort to make a smooth transition from note to note. It didn't help that much that I felt that I'm going to lose my calluses on left hand fingers by rubbing them against those frets. Not to mention that they make very loud noise. Well, and another thing is the highest note on the fretboard here you can find is A. And playing the Swan, you have to go beyond that. So every time you go higher than that, you feel that all of a sudden you have no reference. That might feel a bit distracting too. Now let's imagine that you keep using this fretboard and you're advanced enough to play Haydn C major concerto. This is how it sounds on this cello without frets. And now Let's try to play it with frets. Well, imagine you are on a big stage with the orchestra behind you. You have full audience in attendance. Let's play. I think I missed this shift to A. The resistance from fingerboard was so much higher, so my third finger didn't even make it there. Let's summarize my experience with this fretboard. I think it might be interesting idea to try it, especially if you don't have much of help from your teacher or friend when you start playing. And it feels really confusing to find a good position for the left hand. So it might help you to get more excited about playing cello and learn few simple melodies quicker. The danger of it is that once you get used to that, it will be quite hard to get rid of it. You will be postponing that moment till tomorrow and day after tomorrow and the next day and the next. And as you could hear when I played Swan, and especially Haydn C major concerto, it's virtually impossible to play well with those frets on the fingerboard. When I start working with beginners, I usually put just 2 tapes on their fingerboard. The tape for the first finger and for the fourth finger, so they can check left hand position. And we are learning to listen and to adjust fingers position. You hear that something is wrong, you adjust. And you are not afraid to make mistake because you know that you are listening, you are correcting, and you are learning. That's how to make a progress. Once again, I couldn't emphasize it more. It's better to make mistakes and correct them. It's better to take some risk, to start playing without any kind of help on the fingerboard, just by listening the pitch, comparing it with recordings, listening to your teacher's suggestion. It's a little bit harder to learn at the beginning, but it's worth it. And soon you will become very good cellist. Just in case, there is a link in the description to get information about this cello. It seems to be a fairly decent cello for beginners, and for those of you who are shopping around for a new cello, that might help. It was a lot of fun to try this fretboard. Well, come back to Cellopedia and we will have even more fun learning new cello music. See you soon.